Okay, this is my first video. It's an introduction video. Um, I'm going to do a series of videos, a playlist, put it on YouTube, about some of the dreams that I've had. So some of these dreams I had while I was in prison, some since then. uh, but I've been looking on YouTube and I see that there's a lot of people out there that say that they have dreams and that the, their dreams, they believe that God gave them these dreams. Uh, But what I find interesting is that, like these people, they'll talk about like they had a dream where there's tornadoes or they had a dream there's an earthquake or a flood or something like that. But in my experience, and when you look at the Bible, uh, the dreams that God has given me were symbolic. Only once did I ever have a dream where there was tornadoes. Uh, but most of the dreams were they had symbols in them, and it was like God was trying to tell me something, like He did with Joseph. You look at Joseph. Joseph had a dream where his uh, brothers were bound down to him, basically. But there were symbols all through the dream. And then you look at the butler and the baker, where he interpreted their dreams, and their dreams were symbolic too. You look at all the dreams that and the visions that people had in the Bible. They were symbolic. Very rarely does God actually speak to somebody uh, plainly. He always leaves room for doubt. And plus, when God gives people symbols, a picture is worth 1,000 words. It has much more meaning and depth when He gives someone a symbolic picture. Um, so, with that said, let me mention something else. Is that there's three different places that our dreams can come from. Of course, God can give you a dream, but Satan can too. Like you look at Job, right? And in Job chapter 7, he said, uh, he said, "When I say, my bed will comfort me and my couch will ease my complaint, then you scare me with dreams and terrify me with visions, so that my soul chooses strangling and death rather than my body." Now, you know, anybody that's read the book of Job knows that Job was being harassed by Satan, and uh, he thought God was doing all this stuff to him, but Satan was the one doing it. And there's some people in this world that are harassed with nightmares, like Satan disturbs them mentally with nightmares. Um, but that's usually not his purpose. His purpose usually isn't to scare people, but to lead someone into error. Uh, and a lot of people that think that they have dreams from God, they should be aware that Satan could be the one giving them these dreams. But then there's one other place that our dreams can come from. And that's from our own thoughts. For example, we shouldn't share a dream with other people and tell them that God gave it to us unless we're absolutely sure that He did. Like in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, it says, and I'm reading out of the New King James. It says, "Do not be rash with your mouth, and let not your heart utter anything hastily before God. For God is in heaven and you are on earth. Therefore let your words be few. For a dream comes through much activity, and a fool's voice is known by his many words." And then it says, "Do not let your mouth cause your flesh to sin, nor say before the messenger of God that it was an error. Why should God be angry at your excuses and destroy the work of your hands? For in the multitude of dreams and many words there is also vanity. But fear God." So in other words, um, don't share something as if it was from God unless you are absolutely sure. Um, uh, so, okay, that being said, let me talk about Daniel. When you look at Daniel, the book of Daniel, he had many experiences where God showed him things in dreams and visions. And sometimes he didn't even know what the dream was about. I mean, there was some of the stuff that was given to him that he recorded that he never understood in his lifetime. He never understood, but uh, much of it he understood plainly, like right from the start, like God gave him the understanding. Um, but I know in my experience, there's some things that God has shown me where I didn't understand it for a long time afterwards, and then through my experience, uh, God brought it to my remembrance, um, and gave me a clear understanding. Uh, and when when I've had these dreams, um, and if anyone else has had dreams that they think are from God, uh, He often uses the same symbolism that you find in the Bible. Like for example, um, a woman equals a church. The bride of Christ. You look at, I think it was in Jeremiah, it might have been Isaiah, but it said, I have likened Zion to a beautiful and delicate woman. A virgin would be a pure church, and a harlot would be a corrupt church. Look at Revelations, talking about Babylon, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Anyway, um, then you have other symbolisms that are used a lot through the Bible and maybe even in your own dreams, uh, like a tree. A tree represents people. Um, a green tree, like in Isaiah, it said something to the effect of they're trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord. You look at Nebuchadnezzar. When Nebuchadnezzar had a dream where he saw this big tree and its branches spread out to the heavens, and when Daniel gave him the interpretation, he said, "You are that tree." Um, then you have other symbols like clothing. Clothing is symbolic of our righteousness. Like it says, your righteousness are like filthy rags. It says that in Isaiah. And then in Revelation, I think it's chapter 19, it says, for the fine linen was the righteous deeds of the saints, or the righteous acts of the saints. Um, so clothing is symbolic of your righteousness or whatever. Um, there's been like one dream I had where I saw torn up long johns. it was, but I'll share that with you in another video. Uh, but then sometimes God uses symbols, not like old symbols, like with the prophets in the old days, he might have used a chariot and horses and stuff like that. Whereas now he'll use something you're familiar with that you understand, like maybe a speedboat or maybe a speeding car or something. Like I have this one friend that I met in prison, where he told me about this one dream that he had where there was a young boy and he was standing on the shore and there was a rope tied to him and it was going out through the water and it was attached to a speedboat and there was a speedboat with all these people like partying and everything and anyway I don't remember all the details of the dream. I'm telling it to you secondhand, but he told me how the boy that he saw in the dream, he knew him, and it was his his family and his friends, they were just, it was like they were on a speedboat, just party until they die. Uh, but anyway, God uses symbols that you're familiar with. Um, so, with all that being said, I'm going to start some videos and share some of the dreams that I had. At least I will for sure share the ones that had a true and complete and clear meaning. Uh, and I think you'll find them interesting. But I just wanted to say some things to clear up some misconceptions, because God's number one purpose in teaching people things through dreams, or the dreams that He gave to the prophets, or the visions, the wide awake visions that He gave to some of the prophets. His number one purpose is not to tell people of calamities that are about to fall. His number one purpose is to purify your heart. Purify your heart. Uh, so that's my introduction. My name is Jason Physiok, and I'm gonna make a playlist. All right.